Hello everybody, welcome to Mephiles Gaming. Today I'm going to be doing just a quick tutorial on how to get the FA-18 flight ready and ready for combat. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find this switch right here in the middle. That's the battery switch, and you're just going to flick that on right there. Next, what you're going to do is you're going to want to arm the ejection seat. That is very important, especially if you're going to be going into a combat situation. After you do that, you're gonna want to close the canopy because it does get quite noisy at this point. And once that's closed, you're going to want to go to the auxiliary power unit. As you can hear, the APU starts spooling up to life. Now, before we go into the next steps, we've got general electricity on, so I'm just going to discuss a little bit about the F-18. F-18 is in my opinion, a very good high-fidelity beginner aircraft. Somebody who's coming straight from, say, the F-15 or something like that, that is low fidelity. And obviously, when you first load in, it can look very intimidating with all the buttons and knobs, but trust me, with given practice, you get used to the systems and everything just comes naturally. So, we're going to be selecting air-to-air mode, or we're going to be doing air-to-air, so we're going to load out our aircraft appropriately. So, to arm the F-18 properly for air-to-air, you're going to want to put AIM 9Xs on struts 1 and 2, or 1 and 9. You're going to then want to go to struts 2 and 8 and put LAU 115s and 120Cs. Now here's where it can look different for air-to-air. If you're going to be doing a long distance, 7 and 3 are going to be fuel tanks. But if you're doing short distance, you're going to want to put LAU 115s there as well. So because we're in a small map, we're just going to put LAU 115s there, which are 2 aimed 120Cs. 4 and 6, same thing, aim 120Cs. And then for 5, you're going to put a 330-gallon fuel tank. So once you do that, you're just going to click that, and you're going to rearm.
Copy.
So now we're going to be getting ready for engine start. So you're going to want to go to your DDIs, which are these right here. And you're just going to flick those to day. You're then going to go to this knob right here, which will control the brightness of your HUD, and turn that all the way up. And then you're going to want to go to your lower DDI here, put that to bright. So now, as you can see, we've got all of the systems ready to be turned on once the engine comes online.
Rearming complete.
This right here stands for helmet mounted display. This is an optional thing. Since I'm just starting up, I'm not going to be turning that on, but this right here allows you to, wherever you look, have a little HUD on your helmet. So now what we're going to do is we're going to want to go to the engine crank and click it and right click it to turn it on. And now as you can see, it's spooling up right here. We're just going to wait for that to get to 25. In order to activate it fully, you're going to hit shift, right shift, and home. And if you see this happen right here, the temperature go up drastically, that means that it is turning on. So now what we're going to want to do is we're going to set our radar into the operate position. And then our INS into the ground position.
Flight controls.
You're going to then press backspace to get rid of the stick and wait for this screen to turn on. Once it is on, you're going to click this button right here and hit standard heading. And then it takes a second, but it'll start aligning automatically. Keep that on ground until this is fully aligned, and I'll let you know what that looks like. You're going to want to go to your flaps and set those to half. Turn your position lights and landing and taxi lights all the way on. And as you can see, it's starting to align. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the engine crank. We're going to left click it this time and start spooling up the left engine. We're going to do the same thing and wait until that gets to 25. Once it's at 25, you're going to hit right alt and home. And as you can see, the temperature drastically went up, which meant it got the command. And it should rest at about 65 to 64. Now we're going to wait that to fully align. But in the meantime, we're going to take a look at our upper DDIs and our UFC. So, we're going to start with the UFC. This is what you need to do in order to be able to tell which targets on your radar are friendlies and which ones are hostiles. So you're going to want to click IFF, and don't be alarmed, nothing will turn on at first. You're going to hit on off, and it's going to show XB and these numbers here. IFF stands for Identify Friend or Foe. So this is basically enabling your plane to make the determination if it's a friendly or a hostile. Now, this is a process that can take a while, and sometimes you don't have the time to get that. So the next thing, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to hit DL, which stands for Data Link, and this should pop up right here. You're going to click on off until it says on, right there. This basically allows us to see which planes are allies and which ones are enemies, based on what other IFFs have already determined. So now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to look down at your center thing. It should either say 0.5 and OK or 0.6 and OK. Once you see the OK, what you're going to do is you're going to want to look back down to your INS, and you're going to want to flip it into the IFA mode, which stands for In-Flight Alignment. So now this plane is pretty much ready to go, at least flight-wise, but combat-wise it's still not ready. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to this DDI, hit Menu, and hit Attack Radar, and you'll be greeted with this screen right here. Note that it will not move when you're on the ground, and it will not be activated when you're on the ground. There is no special buttons you need to press in order to activate it. All you have to do is just take off, and it'll start on its own. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to look at your DDI and see the button that says EW, which stands for Electronic Warfare. You're going to click that button. This will show you a larger representation of your RWR, which is your warning system for missiles that are incoming or for any enemy locks that are on your aircraft. There is also another one down here, but it is a little harder to see, so I always have mine up here. What you're going to do now is you're going to activate your RWR by going down here and pressing this button right here. Let me zoom in. You'll be greeted by those sounds, and that means that your RWR is now activated. You will see E3, which stands for friendlies and stuff like that, and then you've got other aircraft and other sites on your RWR. Now that you've finished that, you're going to want to go to your dispenser and right-click it twice to set it to bypass. This will allow you to be able to deploy chaff and flares, which will be very helpful with missile evasion. Once all of that is done, you can press backspace to put back the stick, though that is that is just a preference. And once that is finished, you're going to want to go and you're going to want to disengage your parking brake. Now your aircraft is ready to go and ready to take off and get right into combat. I hope this tutorial helped you. Please make sure to subscribe and like this video, and I hope to see you in the skies in the future.